This is part of my response to Telthor, an atheist who left me some very challenging comments after a video I made about my deconversion from Christianity. Telthor said, "Some people have big problems becoming atheists." And I do believe that. There are many people who have lots and lots of problems I can't even imagine. But I can only speak from my problems and my experience leaving theism. I may seem well-adjusted now, but I went through a really intense period of reevaluation after I realized how unlikely a theistic God is. My husband was very concerned for me. I was depressed, I was sluggish, I was fearful, I was frantic. I remember feeling like I was in the Matrix, like I had taken the red pill. Even though I had fought losing my faith all the way, I was dragged kicking and screaming from theism. And really strangely, I was dragged by my own insistence on pursuing the truth. It wasn't easy or fast for me to adjust to living with the idea that the supernatural probably doesn't exist. What was protecting my house? What was protecting me? Where were my dead loved ones? What was I supposed to do with my life? I'd been waiting so long for a message from God. But once I made the transition, it was so much more than rewarding. My life now is far better than before because I have accepted ownership of and responsibility for my decisions, my life path. My experience of transition was worse than some, better than others. I'll post Evidence's video about his transition out of theism. He felt tortured, and I wouldn't be surprised if perhaps you commiserate. Whatever you're feeling, I want you to know that there are people who care. I care, and I only know you on YouTube. If you're finding yourself leaving a certain way of thinking and you feel very alone, know that you are not alone. There are people who care, even on the YouTube community. There are people who care, and you aren't alone. Other people have experienced it. You wrote about becoming an atheist. It was like taking the red pill. I don't feel free anymore. I don't feel the love anymore. I feel very lonely. I feel like waking up from a bad dream straight into a nightmare. And as much as I try to get back, I cannot. It is impossible now to turn around. The most important thing to know is that these feelings are normal and they will pass. Temporary depression is actually common in any life change, even good ones. It's no surprise that you'd feel an intense emotional readjustment period, maybe lasting for years, maybe lasting for weeks. You've recognized that even if you wanted to, you could never return to your old ways of thinking. That is a major life realization. I can't predict how long you'll feel pain. It depends on many factors, including how much you let yourself explore your world from your new perspective, and how supportive your community is, and whether you can find friends in whom you can confide. Yes, the community around you makes a big difference during your deconversion. At worst, you might be surrounded by people who would want to kill you, if they knew. At best, you might be hailed into a warm community of fellow philosophical naturalists, and you might be hailed as royalty. My guess is that you live in a community that's somewhere between these two extremes. When I was in the throes of deconversion, the community I was in was not supportive of and not receptive to the kind of thoughts that I was having. I felt bewildered and confused and alone. I did a lot of searching for community. I found community eventually here on YouTube, and also at richarddawkins.net, and finally at a local secular meeting about 2 hours away that I could go to once a month. I really hope you can find something similar, a way to vent your thoughts, maybe in writing, but also a community with whom you can just hang out and not have to worry about somebody trying to convert you. Are you pursuing finding community support? I really, really hope so. You said you don't feel loved now. I get the sense that either you believed in a God who loved you, or maybe you're surrounded by a community that only extends loving actions toward people who believe the same things they do. Maybe both. And or maybe you've been isolated from, or you've isolated yourself from these supernaturalist rituals that go on. Any of these possibilities can make you feel very disjointed from community, and that can make you feel less communal and less loved. I'm having to infer your situation, I don't know. But if something was true before your deconversion, it is still true. If you felt worthy of love, if you felt like a worthwhile person, that is still true. Your belief in God does not change reality one bit. Whatever love and worthiness you felt, whatever happiness you felt, why ever you valued life, all of those things are still true. You don't have to find different inspiration to feel the same wonderful, uplifting emotions. Conversely, and I don't think this is the case with you, but some people may feel that they are only happy based on beliefs, certain beliefs which they may later discover to be highly unlikely, like the belief in a God that has a plan for each and every person, or the belief in the afterlife, whatever it is. If a person is happy only because of beliefs, which they then discover are unlikely, that person will have to reevaluate and find new sources of joy. When I was a devout theist, I wouldn't have believed there was anything more wonderful than feeling loved by a God. But I've been happily surprised to slowly discover that reality is far more wondrous than any of the theology I imagined. Right now, you might be experiencing the worst of leaving faith, but the best is yet to come.